Hey, what's going on, everyone? Dan Wanis here with the Daily Fantasy Press. I'm going to be joining you and breaking down the Wells Fargo Championship this week. We have a new site location for this event. It is Eagle Point Golf Club. Typically, this event's held at Quail Hollow, but due to the PGA Championship being hosted at Quail Hollow this year, there's a temporary location, and it's going to be played at Eagle Point. It's a par 72, comes in at 7,259 yards, and last year's champion was James Hahn, and once again, that was played at Quail Hollow. So, course history this week, we do not have anything to go by. So let's get into the key stats and course breakdown. The course was designed by Tom Fazio. It opened in 2000. And like I said, it serves in place of Quail Hollow in preparation of the PGA Champ in August. This course is located near the ocean. And Tom Fazio built this up on a mostly flat swath of land with gentle contours and mature pines that line the course. Now, players that in the past week, weekends prior, just getting out here and practicing, get a feel for the course, have mentioned that visually and aesthetically, it really reminds them of Augusta. Now, they're talking about the lush green grass, the pine needles, the trees. They're not talking about the course. This course has nowhere near the amount of elevation changes, the greens that Augusta has. So just because they say that, I wouldn't start looking back at Augusta and the Masters and seeing which key stats were vital that week. There are a number of PGA Tour players that are members here, one of them being Carl Pedersen. He holds a course record here. He shot a 62. Some other guys that frequent the course, Bill Haas and Webb Simpson as well. However, I'm still going to be leaning on recent form over this course history that some of these guys have. Obviously not on tour events. So there's Bermuda grass. It's Bermuda with an overlay of rye. And with this being near the coast, wind can really come into play. And this week, it looks like the wind is going to be up. I'll get to that in just a second. And then looking here at key statistics this week, strokes gained approach, strokes gained off the tee, par 4 and par 5 scoring, birdie or better percentage, scrambling, and then total driving. So those are the key stats I'm really looking at this week with how the course is set up. And now let's take a look at weather. So Thursday morning looks to be, at the moment, the advantage over the afternoon. So we'll have to continue monitoring this throughout the week. But as of right now, it looks like the Thursday AM tee times are going to have an advantage over the afternoon. And then Friday morning, it looks like there could be precipitation and wind early. So that could really favor the Thursday AM and Friday PM tee times. So we'll continue updating this throughout the week on our Twitter, so you can see our updates on there. And once tee times come out, we can see if some of these guys are going to have a distinct advantage. Now looking at strokes gained off the tee here. First, we have Dustin Johnson. He ranks second on tour in strokes gained off the tee. His salary is pricey. He's $2,000 more than the next price guy, John Rahm. And with the uncertainty of his back injury, I I'm going to take the stance and fade him this week. I just don't see, he pretty much has to win the event to pay off that salary. And having the next guy price $2,000 below him. And next in strokes gained off the tee, you have Jon Rahm. He's third on tour, and he's just playing incredible golf. I really think his game aligns well with the course, and without having course history, I think some of these younger guys who are playing a lot of these events, courses for the first time, there's no advantage for the older guys on tour that have played majority of these courses before. So I love Rahm this week. Greg Owen, he ranks 10th in strokes gained off the tee. He comes in at 6,700. Next, we have Lucas Glover. He ranks 14th. We know this guy's story. He can't putt. If he gets his putter going, he can string together a ton of birdies. And then we have Jason Kokrak. He's 16th on tour in strokes gained off the tee. And last, Luke List. You guys are probably cringing right now. We're bringing this guy up again after his last two events, but I have a feeling I'm gonna go back to the well with him. I just think his he's had like one or two holes that have just gone against him, and the guy grinds it out, and even after some of those blow-ups, he doesn't give up. So we'll see this week. Next, we have par 5 scoring. Dustin Johnson on top here. That's no surprise. Obviously, his last 3 events, he's got 3 wins. I just feel like he's bound to regress a little, and with the injury, who knows how much he's been practicing. And like I've said about the price tag, he pretty much has to win the event to really pay off there. Second, Luke List. I know you guys don't want to hear his name, but he ranks 2nd in par 5 scoring. 4th, we have Phil Mickelson. Pat Perez coming behind him at 7th. Francesco Molinari, this is a guy I like this week. He ranks 14th on tour in par 5 scoring. And then Jon Rahm, once again, makes a list. He's ranked 16th on tour in par 5 scoring. Next, strokes gained approach. Francesco Molinari, once again, he ranks 4th in this category on tour. Webb Simpson, I touched on him earlier. He's a guy that grew up playing this course. He's familiar with it. And he's making one of the statistic categories of the week. So take what you want with that. He comes in at a high price tag, and I think that is due to the common knowledge that he knows this course very well. His recent form, not the best. Dustin Johnson, he ranks 8th in strokes gained approach. Jon Rahm, he is 9th. Lucas Glover, as we already mentioned him with strokes gained off the tee. And Kevin Kisner, he ranks 12th on tour in strokes gained approach. So I think these are all solid options. A lot of the guys are popping on these key statistics here are going to be the core plays we have this week. And Brandon's writing that up as I speak, so that will be published tomorrow. So be sure to check that out on our website. We'll have the full list of core plays and GPPs as well. And I'm going to touch on some here. And one thing some of our listeners and readers gave us feedback to kind of give more of the GPP plays of the week rather than our core, our chalk plays. You guys can get that anywhere. So we're going to be doing something different this week and give some more GPP plays of the week and some punts that we like. So first we have JT Poston coming in at 7,700. JT has 3 top 20 finishes in his last 5 events. His recent form is really good. He's checking the box in par 4, bogey avoidance, and birdie or better percentage. All key stats that we like this week. Second on here, we have Dirt McGirt, 7,900. And I think his game just lines up better on these courses that aren't the 7,500 yard courses where you really need the length. He can really maneuver well around some of these relatively shorter tracks. He's in good form. He finished T22 at the Masters and third at RBC. And this guy, I know it's in North Carolina, but the coastal courses of South Carolina where he grew up play very similar. So I like Dirt this week. And lastly on here, we have Daniel Berger. Here's a guy that trains in the wind in Florida. So if the gusts are up, I am going to be targeting some of the guys that play well in the wind. He also comes in with good recent form. He finished T27 at the Masters and 5th at the Shell Houston Open. And he always seems like a guy that is hardly ever over 10% ownership, partially due to his volatility. But he's checking the box in greens and regulation, strokes gained putting, and par 5 scoring. Now moving on to 3 more GPP plays this week. And first, Bud Cauley. He is priced up this week, and I cannot think of a point where he was priced at this point in a better field. So he finished 9th at RBC Heritage and 10th at Valero Texas Open. He ranks 15th in strokes gained approach, and he's priced up there with guys like Patrick Reed, Webb Simpson, Bill Haas, Francesco Molinari, and Wesley Bryant. So I think he may get lost in the shuffle, and he still has upside here, and he's playing well lately. And I think it's a guy that could get some lower ownership, but still the ability to win this event. Next, Shane Lowry. He's priced at 6,900. He's a guy that we know can play in the wind. He checks the boxes in strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained approach, and also birdie or better percentage. So I like Shane this week. And then we have Emiliano Grillo, 7,400. He's priced right around guys like Hudson Swafford, JT Poston, Zach Johnson, Martin Laird. I think this mid 7,000 range has so many guys that are viable options that ownership is just not going to get too high on any of them. So he checks the boxes in strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained approach, and he's almost like Will McGirt, where he can maneuver the course really well, and length is not his advantage. So with that being said, I think this course, he's got a great shot, and at 7,400, it's a great price for Grillo this week. And lastly, here we have our punts of the week that I was talking about. So these are all guys under 6,700 on DraftKings. First, Greg Owen. He ranks 10th in strokes gained off the tee, 16th in par 5 scoring, and 26th in birdie or better percentage. This is a name that not many people are familiar with. So I think because of that, he's going to come in at lower ownership. His stats are really playing well in his favor. Next, John Peterson. RBC, he was a disappointment, and he had a weekend Vegas trip the weekend before that event. So he admitted on Twitter that was not the wisest decision. His shoulder injury seems to be just fine. And he ranks 9th in scrambling and 47th strokes gained off the tee. And it's 6,600. It's I think it's a good punt that you can take a shot at. And lastly, Chad Campbell. He is priced at 6,300, and he ranks 31st in strokes gained approach, 14th in scrambling, and 49th in par 5 scoring. He played well at Valspar, Shell Houston, and RBC. So with that recent form and that price, I'm comfortable throwing some shares at Chad Campbell this week. So that wraps it up. Be sure, if you guys are not following us on Twitter, Daily Fantasy Press. Also, if you like the videos we roll out here, if you could give us a thumbs up and subscribe, that way you will be notified each and every week the second we release these podcasts. And we always try to get ours out right away after DraftKings pricing, before we're skewed by some of the other talk around the industry, and really just give our thoughts based on our model. And you can check our model out at dailyfantasypress.com. And also, like I said, our core plays of the week are going to be coming out tomorrow on Tuesday. So be sure to check that out. And once again, we really appreciate you guys listening, and wish you the best of luck this week.